Hey everybody, Mark Dawes here. Now in this video I want to talk about refreshers, particularly during this lockdown period with COVID and everything else, because I'm getting quite a few emails from people and organisations who are worried about the fact they haven't refreshed for a number of months because they can't refresh because of the current pandemic. So they've been asking me, what do I do because I'm out of date for my refresher? Can I still train? What's the statutory situation with regards to this? So I just want to do a quick video on this. I have covered this before in other videos, so there are out there. So if you search NFPS refresher training, you'll get some video information on that basis. But fundamentally, there is no law that says you have to refresh within a specific time period. There's no Act of Parliament with regards to refreshers per se. The only piece of regulatory information there is out there is the Management of Health and Safety at Work regulations that say that training must be updated when new information becomes available. It must be refreshed at regular intervals and so on and so forth. So it's a health and safety issue. So let's say that you did your training and you were due for a refresher in November, and November's now passed and we're in February heading towards March, and you're out of date for your refresher. What does your organisation do? Well, your organisation can still allow you to train if they are happy with the fact that you're still competent at what you're doing. So that's a decision for your organisation to make, not the training provider. And the reason that's important is because your organisation is responsible and accountable for ensuring that you are competent and you have the capabilities to undertake what you're doing in the workplace. That is a health and safety requirement. It's Regulation 13 of the Management of Health and Safety at Work regulations. So your employer should be supervising you, looking at your work, checking your CPD and saying, yep, we're happy with what you're doing. You can continue to train even though your refresher certificate has expired. No problem at all. Another thing you could be doing is doing CPD relative to, let's say, physical intervention or positive handling, PMVA, whatever you want to call it. So if you're doing some online training, if you've run a number of courses prior to COVID or even some courses during COVID, if it was safe to do so, and you've got peer evaluations, you've got feedback from people saying, yes, it was good, and you've got written reports on that, that could act as a form of continual professional development, which gives you, good grounds to extend your refresher certificate if need be. But again, I want to stress this, the responsibility for doing that is with your employer. It's not on the training provider per se, okay? So there's the first thing there. Now, the custom and practice with all this has always been annually. This was set, I believe, by the prison service many moons ago, and then the police adopted that thing, and then everyone else adopted it, and they just said every 12 months we will refresh. Now, it is good to refresh, and I've done a blog post on something called the forgetting curve, because we all know that memory, we lose memory over time. So it's good to go back and refresh what you're doing to keep that memory up to speed and to keep your skill set up to speed. Sorry, my teeth nearly fell out there. So refresher training is important. And I wouldn't say, if you've done your course and then you haven't delivered any training to doing your initial course, then, don't refresh for 3 years, because I think you may have forgotten quite a bit, particularly if you haven't been implementing what you've learned. The other question I get is, well, I did my course in, let's say, September. I haven't run any training because of COVID, so I did my initial trainer's course in September. Haven't run any training because of COVID. We're going to start training again in April or May or whenever, and I can't remember everything I learned because I haven't been implementing it because I've not been able to. Can I do a refresher early? Absolutely. You can decide to do 1 refresher a year, 2 refreshers a year, 3 refreshers a year. It doesn't matter. And the other question I was asked was this. If I've trained with a particular training provider, can I refresh with someone else? Yes, of course you can, provided the other training provider is willing to accept you on their course. There's no issues with that, because that would be good continual professional development, because at least you're getting something in there. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go and do a full 5-day course or 3-week course or whatever it is course with whichever training provider you choose to. It's the same as going on a conference, if you like. You go and do a day or 2 days or whatever their refresher period is, and then, that's part of your CPD. And at least you've kept your skills up to date, and it gives you more knowledge and more competence, and you've got more learning and more understanding of your skill set. So that's all I wanted to say in case you're worrying about it. So if you have missed your refresher or you're out of date for your refresher because of this current pandemic, don't worry about it. You can still train providing your employer is happy for you to do so, okay? That's the main thing. And as I said earlier on, that's all to do with health and safety legislation. So the accountability and responsibility rests with your employer. Okay, I hope that helps. If you have any questions, just stick them below the video. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. And if you want to get in touch with me about this, then give me a shout. And for those of you that are due a refresher with the NFPS crowd, we have got refresher dates ready for March. We've got 2 days left, 24th and 25th. We are limiting attendance, obviously, because of the pandemic, but it is COVID secure. All of our safeguards are in place. It will be run at a COVID secure site as well, the venue that we're running it at. And you're welcome to attend. And you only need to attend 1 day. It's not a 2-day course. It's 1 day or the other day. And we've rolled in the handcuff refresher into the PI refresher as well to save you staying another day, so you can get that all done in 1 day. And if you haven't trained with us and you want to come and refresh with us to get some CPD, you're welcome to. No problem at all. We're quite an open and transparent and easygoing company. All right. Thanks ever so much. And like I said, leave a comment below if you want me to answer it for you, and I'll duly get back to you. Stay safe. Have a great day.